Now we are going to study about the effect of air pollution on the body. Okay. So what we are going to study now? Effect of air pollution on the body. Okay. When we talk about effect of air pollution on our body, you know, it's not the case like suppose we went in a polluted area and suddenly we will come across some disease or something like that. But you know, if we are in contact with the pollution, or when we are in the area which is polluted, okay, then what will happen? Slowly and slowly these all oxides, these all soot, carbon particles, it will start getting deposited in our body, maybe lead, okay, maybe mercury. All these particles will start getting deposited in our body, and it will then give rise to one or the other problem, but in later part. That means it won't be visible immediately. You cannot understand immediately, but later on you will realize that yeah, something is going wrong with the body. You know, it works like a slow poison. Okay, it works like a slow poison in the body, which doesn't show the effect immediately, but it affects very badly. Okay. So first of all, when we talk about the effect of air pollution on the body, I would like to talk about respiratory diseases. Oh. So I would like to talk about respiratory diseases. Now, you know, due to all these oxides, due to all this unwanted material, you know what happened? It gives rise to one or the other respiratory disorders in our body. Like what can be the diseases? It can be TB, it can be, I can say it can be pneumonia, it can be lung cancer, okay. So, it can be asthma, okay. So, it gives rise to various diseases like asthma, tuberculosis, even bronchitis, pneumonia. That means it is going to it is going to affect our respiratory system in the adverse way. Okay, it is going to affect our respiratory system. Now, next is particulate matter. Particulate matter. Now, you know what is there in this? When the things burn, okay, certain particles comes out. Okay, maybe it can be carbon particles, maybe it can be somewhere, you know, in something like if you talk about the fuels like the petrol which has lead in it. So lead will be when all these oxides will come out, along with that even lead will come out. So all these particles, it affects the human body in very adverse way, you know. Now, first of all, we know what happens. All this, it creates, it affects the visibility first of all. Why? You know, because all this, when the particulate matter is there in the atmosphere, what happens? The blackish substance is emitted, and the amount of, when these particles get increased in the atmosphere, then first of all the visibility get affected. We are not able to see the things very clearly. Why? Because all these particles are there in the atmosphere, which hinders our visibility. Second thing, it even spoils, it get deposited on our clothes, Just observe this, that suppose one day you are at home, you have not gone out, observe your clothes, next day wear the same kind of a dress, that means a neat one, iron one, and go in the place which is like very busy place, very polluted in the sense, what kind of place, which kind of a place, where a lot of vehicles you will find, a traffic place. So you will find that your clothes will turn black. It doesn't mean it will get converted into black color. You please try to understand that it will become dirty. Why? Because that black thing will get deposited on your clothes also. In the same way, it get deposited on the surface of the leaves, and when something get deposited on the surface of the leaf, obviously it is going to affect the process of photosynthesis also. Okay, so first of all, it affects the visibility. Okay, it affects the visibility because the particles are spreaded and the particles are scattered in the atmosphere, which affects the visibility. We won't be able to see properly. Then second thing, it spoils our clothes. Then it also get deposited on the surface of the leaves and affects the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Then when mercury is released, then it causes a disease called Minamata. Okay, and when lead is being released, then it damages the brain. Okay, so what we are discussing? We are discussing the effects of pollution on body. In that, the first one we have discussed about the respiratory diseases. That means when a person comes in contact, or when a person is in a polluted area for a long time, then it will start damaging the respiratory system of that particular person. Second, now we are talking about particulate matter. When the particulate matter gets spread in the atmosphere, it affects the visibility, it affects the brightness of our clothes, it spoils our clothes, makes our clothes dirty. Then it also affects it get deposited on the surface of the leaves, and it affects the process of photosynthesis adversely. If mercury is present, it is going to give rise to a disease called Minamata, which is very serious disease. And lead, if lead is there, then obviously it is going to damage the brain. Now, third one, first is over, second is over, and now we are going to talk about third one. Now, third one is carbon monoxide. Now, when carbon monoxide get released, I have discussed this thing. I told you also that when hemoglobin combines with oxygen, then oxyhemoglobin is formed. Then oxyhemoglobin is formed. Okay, but when carbon monoxide is there, okay, when Hb combines with carbon monoxide, then what will be formed? Then, see, I told you that hemoglobin has more Okay, so I told you that hemoglobin will rather like it has got more affinity towards the carbon monoxide, and so carboxy hemoglobin will be formed. What happens in this case? What is the problem? See, hemoglobin is there, okay. Now this hemoglobin is responsible to combine, like hemoglobin combines with oxygen and then it carries oxygen in our body, okay. That means hemoglobin combines with oxygen, oxyhemoglobin is formed and then it moves in the body. Now when hemoglobin gets carbon monoxide, okay, see I will give you one example, like here this Nano is there, or say Maruti 800 is standing, and here whatever your favorite car is there, say suppose any big car, whatever you like to have in comparison to Maruti, whatever you like, you keep name, okay. Now Audi is there, so whatever vehicle is there, okay. So obviously if you have got a chance to you have to purchase, your dad is giving you money to purchase Maruti or your favorite car, okay. So obviously you are going to go for the favorite car, not for the Maruti. The same thing is here with the hemoglobin, that hemoglobin likes to combine with oxygen, it combines with oxygen. But if carbon monoxide is there, then it won't combine with oxygen, it will combine with carbon monoxide, okay. And so what happens when carbon monoxide gets combined, like it combines with hemoglobin, carboxy hemoglobin is formed, and then what will happen? When this is attached with this, then there is no place left with oxygen to combine. So oxygen will not reach in proper amount in your body, which will give rise to many severe diseases, maybe will make the person anemic also, okay, will affect the brain also, because oxygen supply to the brain is reduced, and so it is going to affect the brain, the system, the respiratory system will totally be hampered, okay. It will cause, it will give rise to suffocation, it can even cause death of a person, okay. So this was about carbon monoxide. And what are the consequences? Like it may give rise to anemia, it may give rise to suffocation, and in severe conditions even death may occur, okay. Now next one is, we have discussed about carbon monoxide, now I will be discussing about hydrogen sulfide. Now see, hydrogen sulfide, H2S. I should rather write effects of pollution on the body and non-living things, because I am taking in combination only, I am not only discussing about the body. Okay, so when we talk about hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen sulfide we have studied that it has got affinity for silver, okay. So hydrogen sulfide reacts with silver, okay, and what happens? Hydrogen sulfide reacts with silver and give rise to black color. That means the black color get deposited on the surface of the silver and the shine of the silver get reduced. You all are quite aware of this. You all might have seen, I should not even say might, you all have seen silver. At your home, silver like vessels might be there. At least some some idol of god, goddess might be there, something, anything. You will find that within a few days it has to be rubbed properly, black color get deposited. If you are not able to find anything, then you can even see the thing which your mama wears in the legs, that pile. So you will find that after some time it turns black. So why does it turns black? Because it reacts with the hydrogen sulfide, due to which a black color get deposited on this, and then it has to be washed again to keep it clean. So hydrogen sulfide reacts with silver, it reacts with, and so whatever statues and so so many a times it is there in the paintings also, in the embroideries also, jewelry also, silver vessels also. So it combines with all this and turn them to black. And it smells also very badly. If someone smells hydrogen sulfide gas for a longer time, it will give rise to a severe headache, because it gives a smell like a rotten egg. Okay, so it smells like a rotten egg. Smells like a rotten egg. Give rise to headache. Okay. Now next one, I think now we will be discussing about the depletion of ozone, effect on ozone layer. Now, what is ozone, children? Ozone, see, this is oxygen. When 3 atoms combine, it gives ozone molecule. Okay, O3 means what? Ozone. So now this O3, something, ozone is a dangerous, it is a poisonous gas, rather I should say. We are quite lucky that ozone is not present on the surface of the earth. Really, I am saying you. I am telling you that if ozone would have present on the surface of the earth, life would have become like there would have been no life on the surface of the earth. Why? Because ozone is a poisonous gas. Okay, but at the same time, when it is present in the stratosphere, okay, ozone is a gas which is poisonous and it is not present in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and so we are not forced to breathe it. Okay, we don't have to breathe. We don't breathe. When we inhale ozone, we don't take ozone inside. Okay, why? Because it is present in the higher levels of the atmosphere. It is present in the stratosphere. You might be knowing about the layers of the atmosphere. Okay, it was there in the 6th standard, I suppose. Okay, so it is there in the stratosphere, and what happens when these chlorofluorocarbons and when such kind of gases, compounds or certain gases or pollution, when it get increased, what happens? A hole in the ozone layer is created. Why? Because these thing combines with this thing, ozone. Okay, these harmful compounds, they combine with ozone, and thus what happens? A hole is being created in the ozone layer. Now, what is the importance of ozone layer? Importance of ozone. See, it acts like an umbrella. It acts like an umbrella. Now, this is the surface of the earth and it acts like the umbrella. Means what? It acts like an umbrella means what? It protects, like, see, whatever UV rays, whatever ultraviolet rays comes from the surface of the earth, all this umbrella, okay, all this umbrella means all this ozone layer, it absorbs. okay, or rather it again reflects back into the atmosphere. Please try to understand, if this is the surface of the earth, this is the layer of the ozone. So when the ultraviolet rays, okay, when the UV rays of the sun falls on this umbrella, this protective umbrella, or when it falls on this layer, what happens? This ozone, either like some part is absorbed by the ozone and some part is reflected back in the atmosphere. That means it prevents ultraviolet light and doesn't allow these rays to come on the surface of the earth. But then what happens if there is a hole in the surface of this? Okay, when there is a hole in the surface of the ozone, so what will happen? These rays are going to penetrate and will reach on the surface of the earth. Okay, and like what happens if these rays are coming? What happens? See children, these rays are very, very dangerous, as it gives rise to many diseases like skin cancer. Okay, the level of the melanin get increased in the humans, which give rise to the black spots. Okay, then skin itching, like all the skin related problems occur due to the ultraviolet rays, which get a chance to penetrate in the surface of the earth. So how and what should I say about the ozone? Ozone is a poisonous gas. It is a poisonous gas. Okay, it is a poisonous gas present in the stratosphere. We can denote it with O3. Okay, now what is the importance at it? It acts as in protective umbrella. It acts as a protective, it acts as in protective umbrella, okay, and saves the surface of the earth and do not allow UV rays to penetrate or reach on earth's surface. See, we are reading the effect on ozone layer. Earth, on the surface of the earth, above the surface of the earth, a gas is present which is poisonous, but we are quite enough lucky that it is not present very close to the surface of the earth, but in the higher regions, in the stratosphere, ozone gas is present. Okay. Now this gas acts as a protective umbrella. It doesn't allow the UV rays of the sun to penetrate or to come on the surface of the earth. But when we use the compounds like chlorofluorocarbons and when the pollution get increased, all this affects the ozone layer and thus a hole is created. Okay, hole has created in the ozone layer, and due to this ozone layer, the hole in the ozone layer, the UV rays get chance to come on the surface of the earth. What's wrong with UV rays? These rays are very harmful and are responsible for creating many diseases like skin cancer and various other skin diseases. Okay, so it's very, very important that this hole, when I say that this hole is there, it's not a very small hole. It is very wide, very big, many thousand square kilometers. In many, in a big area, this hole is being seen and is present. One more thing about the hole, that the size of this hole like it keeps on increase, like it sometimes get increased and sometimes even get decreased. Sometimes it get filled up and again that sometimes it gets widened. So it depends upon the atmosphere. Whether it becomes like more effect can be seen in the winter seasons. Okay. Okay. So now this was about the importance of the ozone. We have studied about the effect of pollution. First of all, respiratory diseases. Due to pollution, many respiratory diseases come into existence like pneumonia, bronchitis, tuberculosis, asthma, lung cancer. Okay. Now, particulate matter, that means the small particles which moves around in the atmosphere, which comes into existence due to the pollution. Now, these particles are responsible, or it affects the visuality, okay, of our visuality. We cannot see things easily. It affects the growth of the plants as it get deposited on the surface of the leaves. Okay. Now, when mercury is released, okay, as a pollutant, then what happens? It will cause a disease called Minamata. When lead is released, and so it is always advised not to use the petrol which contains lead. What happens? It will damage the brain. When carbon monoxide is there as a pollutant, it combines with the hemoglobin and carboxyhemoglobin is formed, and this the amount of oxyhemoglobin, like the hemoglobin fails to combine with the oxygen, and so the amount of oxygen in your, like in the body, get decreased. It gives rise to suffocation, it gives rise to asthma, it gives rise to brain attacks, it gives rise to even death in the severe conditions. Then hydrogen sulfide is again a pollutant which combines with silver and affects the silver. It turns silver into black, like gives a blackish color to the silver. And ozone, I think I have discussed a lot about the ozone. So now we will be discussing, see, we all know the pollution is there on the surface of the earth, okay. But now the thing is that how the pollution can be reduced. What has to be done to reduce the pollution on the surface of the earth? Okay, so let's discuss a bit about that. Always remember, children, one thing, I too can make a difference. Okay, I too can make a difference means what? Even you can make a difference. Even I, a single person, can make a difference. Never think that what has to be done, what shall I do, why I should do. As the whole world is doing this nonsense, why I should be worried about this? No. There are many people who are worried, there are many people who are taking actions, there are many people who are sacrificing a lot. They are, the whole life they have just concentrated, they have given their whole life for the sake of the nature and for doing certain good deeds. So always do your part. Okay, forget about the world, but always do your part. Let's discuss what we can do and what are the things or what are the measures by using we can decrease the pollution. Okay, so now we are going to study how can we reduce pollution. Okay, ways to reduce pollution. First of all, we will talk about LPG. Now see, what is the full form of LPG? We all know, it's liquid petroleum gas. Okay. Now, I know the people who are there in the city, I know you and me, we are using LPG. Okay. But the people who are there in the villages or remote areas, still they are using cow dung cakes, okay, maybe kerosene, maybe coal. So, when such kind of things are used, when the fuels like cow dung cake, when coal, or when such kind of things are used, so it gives rise to, like, it pollutes the atmosphere a lot. Okay. So, if instead of using all such kind of things, the people who are there in the villages can be even encouraged to use, gobar gas plant. Okay. Like, I can understand, like, these remote, this remote, few remote places I should say, it's difficult to get LPGs. But by taking initiatives, I have seen at many places the groups, the small colonies, they have gathered together and they have made their own gobar gas plant, cow dung plant, and from there they are using the methanes by the help of the pipelines, and then even it is a pollution free. It doesn't pollute the atmosphere, and it's very cheap also, isn't it? So, when you and me, we people are educated, when we know, then we can we can shift to and we can shift towards all such kind of things which are which doesn't pollute the atmosphere. Okay. So, first of all, the first one is like LPG, liquid petroleum gas, and then gobar gas plants or the methane can be used. Why? Because it doesn't pollute the atmosphere, at least as it doesn't pollute as much as the other things are polluting. Then the third one can be the use of CNG, compressed natural gas. Compressed natural gas, again in the vehicles, this can be used instead of using LPGs, I am so sorry, instead of using petrol and diesel. Okay. But if one is using petrol, then lead free petrol should be used. Okay. So, first of all, the LPGs can be used, CNGs can be used, and if the person is using petrol, then at least the lead free petrol should be used, so that the lead particles cannot come, won't get released in the atmosphere, and it won't pollute the atmosphere. Okay. Now, next one is the vehicles. Now, what about the vehicles? Children, vehicles should be well maintained. Don't you think so? Like, if you are using a vehicle and if we are not taking proper care of the vehicle, we are not giving the vehicle for the proper servicing, what will happen? After some time it will start polluting the atmosphere more. Okay. So, it's very, very essential to maintain our vehicles in a good situation, in a good condition. Okay. So, we should keep our vehicles in a good condition so that it won't pollute the atmosphere. Okay. Now, when I talk about vehicles, I would say one more thing, I would add one more thing. Let's see, I told this thing while teaching also, while teaching, I don't know what, I don't remember what I was teaching, something related to this only. I told that in Delhi, the number of vehicles are, is increasing like anything, and if the vehicles are placed one after the other, it will give rise to the length of the two long rivers. So, that's what, when the vehicles are used, so at least try, we have a vehicle, but still again try to use carpools, try to use public vehicles, and try to give your like when the vehicle is there, still we need to walk a little. We can even go little, like very nearby places. We can use bicycles also. I know nowadays you people also feel that something beyond your I should say it's not very prestigious for you people to use bicycle, okay. But I really remember nicely that in our days we used to ride bicycle. We used to, like, nothing was wrong in using bicycle, and in fact I should say that we used to be in the pollution free area, okay. At our time there were never, like, the amount of pollution, the degree of pollution was not so high, okay. But now at least you people who are in 8th, 9th standard, 10th standard should use bicycles, okay. So again it will reduce the see, two things will be there. The consumption of the petrol will be reduced, okay, and again the pollution will also get reduced. Your money will also be saved, only your energy will be utilized. So what carpools should be used? Public vehicle or public transport system should be used. Cycles should be used, okay. Now come to the which number now I am supposed to write. 6. Plantation or afforestation. Children, this is of utmost importance. This is very, very important, because we are cutting trees like anything, okay. We are cutting trees like anything, and if we do not plant the plants, if we do not grow trees, then it will really become difficult to survive on the surface of the earth. As the rate of the carbon dioxide is increasing, and it will gradually, it is going to give rise to global warming. And we have studied just now that due to global warming, the areas near the sea or the coastal areas will get submerged into the sea, and life on the earth will really become difficult, and half of our earth will get destroyed. So it's really alarming. There is no time to think, even this time to take action. Please plant or grow trees. It's not like that, just put a sapling and forget it. Like, who cares whether the plant grows or doesn't grow? No. If you have planted a plant, that means you have to take care of the plant like a child, and has to take care till it becomes capable of absorbing and becomes capable of surviving by its own. Okay, so this is really my favorite work. I love to plant and take care of the plants and trees, and I do this because I love it. So until unless until unless you have that kind of feeling towards the nature, you won't do it. So try to develop, try to be in nature, try to be the part of nature, spend your time with nature, and then obviously you will gradually develop a feeling towards the nature, and you will also love to plant trees, to grow trees, to take care of trees. Okay, so this is very, very important. Plant or grow trees, stop deforestation. Okay, that means cutting of the trees should be stopped, okay, or at least should be avoided when it is not required. Now next one is alternative uses, alternative ways. Now what are the, or what can be the alternative ways? See, there are many alternative ways. even if each one of us tries and shift to alternative sources, it can be a great help to the nature. See, alternative sources can be in the form of wind energy, it can be in the form of a solar energy, it can be in the form of a tidal energy, okay. So, first of all, when we talk about wind energy, now we all know like windmills are there, okay, and how it works and how the electricity can be produced with the help of the windmills. So, these are the alternative sources. If we use such kind of sources, again it is going to reduce the burden on the surface of the earth. It can reduce the burden on the atmosphere. Now, solar energy means what? Sun energy. I know you all might be using or may at least have an idea about use of the solar energy. It is used in the solar cookers, it is used in the solar cells, okay. It is used for solar geysers. But if you know, solar energy is also used to produce electricity, okay. It is not being done on the wide like on a greater extent, but still it has been started, and small silicon chips are being used. The amount of electricity produced depends upon the amount of the silicon slips, like silicon chips, how many chips are being used over there. Now, tidal energy means wave energy, waves. Now, these waves can be used as an energy, okay. So, now geothermal energy is also there, and many kind of energies are there, has come into existence, we know it, and we should try to shift. I am not saying that on tidal energy we can shift, no, like some part is of government, but obviously some part, some important role even we play, okay. We can use solar gadgets, we can use many a times, we can use many things, okay. So, at least should shift on the things which we can do, okay. Now, we will discuss those things also which we can do. Just let me discuss this thing which is there in the lesson, okay. So, now chimneys are there, okay, tall chimneys. Now, industries, I said before only कि few things we can do, few things are there in the hands of the government, okay. But tall chimneys are there or should be used. Tall chimneys should be used in the industries. Now, what happens due to the use of tall chimneys when I hope you all understand the meaning of chimney. Above the industry, such long pipe-like structure is there from where the fume comes out, okay. Now, these chimneys should be very, very long. These chimneys should be very, very long, so that the atmosphere which is like the lower levels of the surface of the earth can be at least kept free of the pollution, isn't it? Like if the chimneys are tall enough, obviously the atmosphere is going to get polluted, but at least in lower areas, the lower levels of the atmosphere can be kept pollution free. At the same time, one more thing, like government is giving an emphasis, like government is forcing this industrialists or the this people to when the this unwanted or the gas or when the things comes out, okay, when the fumes comes out, when all this gaseous waste comes out from the chimneys, it should be made pollution free. It should be made pollution free. That means this should be treated first and then this should be released from the chimneys. Okay. Two things we have discussed over here. Tall chimneys means what? First of all, the chimney should be there, and this chimney should be of very, like, it should be very tall, so that the lower levels should be can be kept at pollution free. And second thing, before releasing the fumes or before releasing all these things through these tall chimneys, at least it should be made free of, like, it should be treated and should be made pollution free. Okay, so it can prevent the atmosphere, it can prevent the surface of the earth from the pollution. Okay, now what can be the next one? The things which you or I can do is, at least, we can switch off the lights. Switch off lights and fans, okay, when not in use. Okay, we can switch off the lights and fans when not in use. See, there are two things. First of all, it is going to prevent the electricity. By preventing electricity, again, first of all, we can save our bill. Second thing, unnecessarily wastage of electricity can be saved. Now see, electricity is also made by water, and it takes it's not a it is not very cheap source of energy. Okay, so again, first of all, the money can be saved. If energy is saved, light energy is saved, again the water can be saved, which is very, very precious for us, because most of the power, like, either the light energy will be made of what? Maybe water, maybe coal. So whatever, how, like, what are the different ways are used to make the electricity. But the thing is that by switching off the lights and fans, we will be able to save the electricity. That is utmost important. Now again, the things which we have discussed over here, like use of public transport, this is the thing which you and I can do. Okay, there is nothing great, no work is there of the government. Here we play an important role. Okay, then use of cycle, as I discussed, use of carpools, as I discussed. Okay, so again, to turn off the taps when not in use. There should be no, if any leakage is there in the taps, it should be controlled, it should be stopped, it should be taken care of, because when we are wasting water, again, in one or the other way, we are hampering our atmosphere, we are hampering our surface of the earth, we are wasting our natural resources. So just, by trying in one or the other way, we can save natural resources, which in turn helps in keeping our environment clean and pollution free. So these were few factors which we can use to keep our atmosphere clean, just by using LPG, CNG, gobar gas plants, lead-free petrol. Then just now we have discussed the vehicle should be maintained properly, public transport should be used, then plantation, by planting more trees, deforestation should be stopped, then alternative ways of energy should be used, maybe solar energy, tidal energy, okay, maybe wind energy. So all these can help in giving us a brighter future or brighter tomorrow. Okay. So now we are going to proceed to the next topic.